The flow of the Joseph story is interrupted by another shorter story, which also highlights the dysfunction of the family of Israel. It's the story of Tamar. And I have to say, it's a doozy of a story. If they made this story into a movie, it would be hard not to give it an R rating. So if there's any little ones around, now would be the time to shoo them out of the room. So, everyone gone? Okay. Israel's son, Judah, left home and went off and had 3 children with a Canaanite woman named Shua. The sons were named and Onan and Shelah. The kids grew and it was time for to get married, so Judah found a nice girl for him named Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, did what was bad in Yahweh's eyes, and Yahweh let him die. Because Tamar was his late son's wife, Judah felt pressure to take care of her and to make sure that she had a child to carry on Er's legacy. So Judah gave Tamar to the second eldest son, named Onan. He told Onan that by having a child with Tamar, he would be fulfilling his duty to as his brother. But Onan, okay, how do I say this? He didn't want to have a child with her, so he spilled his seed on the ground. But what he did was bad in Yahweh's eyes, and Yahweh also let him die. So is this awkward yet? Judah then told Tamar to go back and live with her father as a widow, and when Shelah was old enough, he would have him marry her. But time went on, and it happened that Judah had sort of forgotten about her. Shelah was old enough to be properly married, but for some reason, Judah just didn't pull the trigger on it. One day, after the death of Judah's wife, Tamar learned that her former father-in-law was coming to town to have his sheep sheared, and perhaps feeling a bit scorned by him, she decided to jump into action. She went down to the entrance of her town and sat by the well. She covered herself with a veil and wrapped herself up tight. To anyone walking around the ancient world in those days, when they looked at her, they would have immediately thought her to be a prostitute, and that was exactly the look she was going for. Judah saw her, and he propositioned her. They agreed on the price of the transaction. A kid goat from the flock would be the price. He couldn't give her the goat right away, then and there, so as a pledge, he gave her his cord, his staff, and his seal. They had sex, and she got pregnant without him ever knowing that it was Tamar, his daughter-in-law. When he came back to give her the goat and receive back his things, he could not find her anywhere. Some months go by, and it's clear to everyone that she's pregnant. Someone tells Judah that his daughter-in-law, who he had previously pledged his youngest son to, was pregnant. Judah said, "Bring her out. She should be burned." Okay. Anyone else see something a little wrong here? He can go around and get with a prostitute, but when she turns up pregnant, she's to be burned alive. As they were bringing her out to kill her, she said that the man who did this to her was the same man who had given her a cord, a staff, and a seal. He immediately recognizes that he has wronged her, not so much by having sex with her, but by withholding his son Shelah from marrying her. He realizes that all his trickery was to get back at him for his forgetting her. So she has twins from the encounter with Judah, 2 sons named Perez and Zerah. And that is thankfully the end of this little interlude. Fun, right? If you remember anything about the story at all, remember the main figure here, Judah. This whole story paints him and his family in an absolutely terrible light. His 2 oldest sons are wicked. He doesn't fulfill his promises. He has sex with who he assumes to be a prostitute. I mean, this is a tough story. And Judah, the man, then lends his name to the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah ends up later being the southern kingdom of Judah, whose capital is Jerusalem. This story, written down centuries and centuries after the events they describe, has incredible political implications. Someone is trying to disparage Judah, not just the man, but the kingdom. Oh, and one more thing. Judah, Tamar, Perez, and Zerah all find themselves in the Gospel of Matthew, in the genealogy of Jesus. Tamar is one of 5 women included in this genealogy, and the rather unseemly tryst between Judah and Tamar is specifically invoked and memorialized as part of the lineage of Jesus, as Perez became the great, 35 greats grandfather of Jesus of Nazareth.